Today, we are going to explore the different plans available on Smarty Ears Online. We have individual and enterprise plans. Individual is designed for professionals such as speech-language pathologists or special education teachers looking to utilize Smarty Ears Online with their students. The enterprise plan is for organizations such as teletherapy organizations and school districts, home health companies, those individuals who are wanting a bigger approach to intervention to their students that go beyond that one professional, because there are going to be a lot of more collaborative options and oversight available on our enterprise plan. I'm going to start by showing that within both plans, both the individual and the enterprise plan, which are both the same price, you also have two breakdowns based on features. If you come here, you explore the professional plan, and this is within the individual, but all of this applies to both enterprise and the individual plans. So first, I'm going to showcase the features within Smarty Ears Learning. I'm going to come here and show you guys the professional plan and the collaborative plus plan. And the biggest difference here is the collaboration aspect and the login aspect. So as you can see here, the platform, when we come to student roster to view all of our students, this here is my student roster. I can see the number of students. I can see all of the students that I have here on my platform. Now this account is within the enterprise plan. Within the enterprise plan, you can collaborate between SLPs with classroom teachers and other professionals, and collaboration between SLPs across campuses. There are a lot more features, but all of the features that I'm going to initially show you here, which is adding students, selecting them to play an activity. This is a baseline for all of the plans. You select your students, you play the games. Now, if I go back here and I'm on my main screen, I'm going to select here this student, João. João is set up. You see here he has his goals. He has his progress report and notes. Now, if you see here, this that says set up student login. Now, the set up student login is the key difference between your base plan on the individual plan and your collaborative plus. The Collaborative Plus allows you to set up a login for the student. In this case, it will be this login. The student will get their own login so that they can log in at home with activities that you specifically assigned for this child. We want to make sure that kids are having as many opportunities to practice their skills. So here, once you set up the student login, this child would be able to log in the classroom or at home. Parents will receive email updates. You can also set up teacher updates for as the child is working on the system. So we're going to go ahead and set up this child here. We would set up the caregiver email, caregiver last name, and confirm email. This means that the parents would receive a login and information that you have added this student into the system. This will give this specific family information on the activities that you set up for home practice. We know how important home practice is for progress, and this will give parents a way to participate in their child's learning. I'm going to go back to my student roster and select a student that I already set up her home access. And then what happens is you have this menu here. Even though we call home practice, they could be a classroom practice. This is actually any time beyond one-on-one practice. We select this home practice, and this here, all the activities that we have assigned for the student. Now I can come on Add New, scroll through my activities. Let's say this child is needing to work on her plurals. I want them to practice this weekly for 15 minutes, or it can be a 10-minute daily practice on this activity. Now, what this means is after I've set this up, the email associated with this student will receive an alert saying your child's interventionist, SLP, etc., has assigned a new activity, log into practice. So now that practice Once the child practices, you can come here to progress report and see whether or not that child completed that practice. And you can see how they are performing even outside of a one-on-one intervention. Instead of sending in papers for homework, you can give a login for homework. This is a much more interactive way to keep track on the child's performance. Now, I'm going to go back and talk about the enterprise plan. This really is the best that organizations can offer and have for their staff because it allows for so many amazing features. The pricing is the same, whether you're doing the home login or no home login, the price is the same. But look at these amazing features as you set up as an organization. As you can see here, I am set up as my organization is Smarty Ears ISD. And because of that, I have this button called Collaborators. Now, my collaborators, in this case, for this student in particular, is her special education teacher. Now, this teacher has a login within the platform. That means that this professional, Donna, she will log in and she can see within her student roster the students that you have shared with her. So whenever she's having a practice, kids get to be in the classroom 5 days a week. So if you want to collaborate with this educator, they can have practice time with the student, and all that data will come back here to this main screen. Everybody gets to see how that student is doing. You give other professionals a bigger overview of how that child is performing as they have therapy, as they have intervention in the classroom. And you, as the account holder for the student, in the case I am the account holder, you can see this key here, I get to decide what the other collaborators get to see. Can they delete a student? Can they edit that student? Can they set up a home access? View the goals, view my notes, view progress. You have complete control of what the other can see. So for example, let's say that we want another person in this district, we have an SLPA. We want to give this SLPA access to the student. Now that SLPA has been added to the caseload so that the SLP and the SLPA don't have to duplicate the work of adding the same student. As soon as one of them adds the student, the other one can have access to that student too. And you can monitor how the other person and the other personnel interacts with that child. Now let's talk about yet another amazing feature. If we come back here to my student info, actually let's go back to students. You know that students, eventually they move from elementary to middle school or they shift schools. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could share all this data of years to the next person, the next SLP, the next case manager? And you can now do this with Smarty Ears Online. You can click on the settings button, click on transfer student. You select from the list of existing staff within your organization to share that student profile with the next individual. This is also really valuable if one SLP is coming on the campus for a temporary amount of time. You can transfer that student instead of sharing. If you have multiple SLP on campus, if you navigate across campuses, there are so many ways that this can be used, not only to cover maternity leave, new staff members, as opposed to starting over. All this data is saved and transferred. Now I can also see a general statistics. Now I'm not logged in to say the administrator of this campus, but the administrator would be able to see and oversee student transfer, monitor student progress. This increases accountability and success for all the students. If you want a quote, it's really easy to get a quote for Smarty Ears Online. Just visit smartyearslearning.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom. And we would be happy to chat with you. Get a quote generator. You can easily get a quote here. Access the quote generator. We'll be happy to onboard you on Smarty Ears.